Good evening and welcome to the BDF Show special night. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Inauguration Day. And
Yes.
those of you in the U.S., today there was no mail due to Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yep.
And
that's all right. No bills.
The flux capacitor, and let's do the countdowns. 763 days until my Orlando trip in 2027. 140 days until my 63rd. 164 until 4th of July. 2,590 days until my 2032 Orlando trip. 870 days until my 65th. 2,697 days until my 70th. 339 days until Christmas. 346 days until 2026. And 1,601 days until my 67th.
Wow, you've got even your 67th birthday up there?
Yeah. Because if you're born after 1960, your official full retirement age is 67. But if you're born if you're born before 1960, your full retirement age is 65.
Yep, I know. I already did that.
But you can draw as early as 62.
Yep.
But I'm on disability. Well, mine's a survivor's benefit, but it's still under my disability.
Yep.
And like I said, got the flux capacitor.
Yeah.
Let me unplug.
So are you setting us on a new time? Where are we going forward in time to when you're 67?
Probably. There it goes, fluxing.
Yep. There it is. Man, that's bright.
And let me bring up the time circuits.
While you're doing that, I'm going to explain to our viewers that I am on my phone this time because I didn't trust my computer after what happened last time. So hopefully I will be able to be on for the entire show. Nope, he disappeared. Where'd he go? Oh. Gathering stuff.
Okay. Turn the time circuits on.
Yep.
This one shows where you're going. This one shows where you're at, and this shows where you've been. But the top one says November 5th, 1955, 1:21 in the morning. It's supposed to be the time on that one is supposed to be 6:35 in the morning.
Okay, why? Explain why.
Because that's about the time that Marty crashed into the Peabody's barn.
Uh-huh.
And just before he killed one of the pines of the Twin Pines, turning Twin Pines Mall into Lone Pine Mall. And then the second one, October 26, 1985, 1:22 in the morning. It's supposed to be 1:24 in the morning. And that is because
Like,
that was what time Marty set it for, to go back to 1985 from 1955 to kind of warn Doc.
yeah, yeah.
And then the
Okay.
bottom one says November 5th, 1955, 10:04 p.m. It's supposed to be November 12th at 10:04 p.m. because that was when the lightning struck the clock tower.
Yep. Okay. Now, okay. I mean, think about how they interwove all these shows. Were were they were they all these films, all these all three of there were three of them, right? Or four?
Right, there's just three. They
Okay.
decided to quit after three because three is a trilogy and it's
Yeah.
more exciting than four.
Yeah, I agree. It makes more sense. Okay, so they interwove this whole thing when they were writing it, right? I mean, the way they wrote it, it was video, it was taped. When they shot the movies, they were all kind of like shot at the same time, or was the first one shot separately and then the other two were shot together?
Um, actually, I think the way I understand it from back in time on Amazon Prime is that when they did two where Marty in that hat and the leather jacket was trying to save himself from that's playing on playing Johnny Be Good.
Right,
Um,
where he's in
they
the picture, he started to fade, right?
they had no. This was after the starting of the fade. It was where he
Oh,
was playing the Johnny Be Good. Well, they had to redo that part because there was another angle that they had because the guys that were um, Biff's goons were knocked out by the other Marty
yeah,
and by the sandbags, and
yeah.
Marty went down by rope and then knocked him out again, and then left the stage before his other self left.
Okay, all right. I gotta watch these movies again. Okay, so they didn't completely film both of the both the second and the third together. They only filmed that one section.
They had to redo certain parts of the Back to the Future one in 1955, so that they even did the part where the original Marty talked to his parents, and that they had to do that because he had to go out and knock his other self out.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Well, not knock him out, but knock him down
Knock them down. Yeah.
with the door.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Wow. But I mean, it's just, the logistics of it all. You know what I mean? The
Yeah,
logistics and the continuity that they had to work out and everything. And I'm sure there was probably still, I mean, that's one of my kind of hobbies is I like to watch like continuity errors in movies and things.
there's a in back in time. There's a collector that collects Back to the Future stuff. He's got the actual part three time DeLorean time machine that was in Back to the Future 3 that had the big old Pepsi crate with those parts,
Uh-huh.
and he also has Marty McFly's pickup truck, Toyota pickup truck, the
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
85
Yep.
pickup truck,
Yep.
and
Yep.
He also had the actual Volkswagen bus that the Libyans were in.
Okay. When I was a kid, we actually had a Volkswagen microbus like that. So you were saying earlier that they had 7 time machines, 7 DeLoreans, right?
Right, they
Is that
had
what you were
7
saying?
of them,
Okay.
but they
But
had,
that's not even counting the train, right?
not counting the train. Um, However, they do have copies of the train, one at Universal Studios Hollywood and one at Universal Orlando.
Yeah, I've
That,
seen
that
that. I
has
remember that.
ELB, Emmett Brown's initials.
Yeah, yeah.
And they also have a DeLorean down there in Orlando and a DeLorean in Universal Hollywood. But
Hollywood, yeah.
yeah, the Part 3 one, which is which was the C car. You had the A car, B car, and the C car. The third one, which is the C car, that is to owned by a collector. And then there's of the remaining 4. Um, there's one in a museum. And I think I'm there's one in
There's one in a museum, I think, near Orlando, right?
um
'Cause I think I
I,
remember seeing something about it. And
I
there's
think
one in Universal too, also, right?
right, but there's one in a I think Peterson's museum. Peterson's,
Okay,
and
where is Peterson's?
I think it's somewhere out in California.
Oh, okay.
And then I think there's one in the Smithsonian. I'm not for sure.
I think there is. I don't remember seeing it, but I've been to the Smithsonian a couple times, and I think I remember seeing something about it, but I don't remember seeing it. But
People are buying their own DeLoreans and having this one guy fix them up as a time machine.
retro, yeah, retrofit them, right? Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I've heard about that too. Yeah,
They
but
said that the hardest part to doing that is the flux band. That's the part that goes around the car, um, even to the flux boxes.
well, yeah, because I mean, it's got to go kind of like over the door or something, right? The way the doors go up or
Well,
something like
over
that.
behind the door, yeah.
Yeah,
There's a flux box up there on the roof, and
yeah.
then you have a flux band on the front bumper.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to bend it, and they have to bend, then measure, and that's what makes it the hard part.
Yeah, because that's like that's tubing or something, right? That's light tubing, and it's almost
Yeah,
like glass, right? Like fiberglass or something like that.
yeah. But well, it's made to light up
Yeah,
because it lights up blue,
yeah.
and
But it's
then
not like those bands that the kids wear, at fairs and things. That you just
right,
pull them because that doesn't last very long. So this would have to be something different.
right. And the western town of Hill Valley,
Yeah,
that burned down in a fire. Um, but but the original Hill Valley that you see, um, what's inside the courthouse is nothing but it's pretty much fronts on there.
yeah. It's just a facade, right? It's just like the facing of the building. There's not really
Right.
a yeah. But you said that the Hill Valley, the village, the town it burnt down. That wasn't in the recent LA fires, right? That was a
No,
while ago.
no, no. This was at a different location where they filmed the western part,
Yeah,
1885,
yeah,
where
yeah.
even that train station burned down too, but the railroad track still remains, and that's considered a backlot, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Well,
a lot of those studios, they've
I
kind of
think
like
I think
gotten rid of their backlot. That's it.
I think this particular backlot was not owned by any particular studio where they could actually any studios can book it to do a filming. But
Uh-huh.
if you remember Fox, um, the show MASH, where they actually filmed the 4077th in both the box office hit and the TV series. That
Yep.
is now a state park, and and the
With
the
the
the dual helipad is still there,
Oh, wow.
but
Yeah,
that
because we watch MASH all the time. My husband likes to watch the show. So, yeah, I'll have
and
to tell him that.
you can actually tour it, but
That's out in California, right?
where you
Yeah.
park at, you have to get out and walk quite a ways until you get to the 4077th.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that wouldn't happen. We wouldn't be able to do that.
But however, if you go to Universal Hollywood, you can get on a tram and then they'll take you around Hill Valley. But Lou's cafe's not there anymore. It's a used car dealership.
A real used car dealership
No,
or
no, it's a
fake tape.
fake.
Yeah, yep, okay.
Because that set had a fire. Luckily, it did not hit the courthouse, but it did take out Lou's Cafe.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Yeah,
But it's nice that they still use those. I mean, like I see a lot on a lot of the shows like we watch Emergency quite a bit, you know, and we watched Adam 12. We watch a lot of Me TV. And a lot of the you see a lot of the the sets. You can see the sets and they look like it's like, oh wait, I recognize that set from such and such, and
yeah.
I wait, I recognize that set from that. It was like on the rides when you see the streams and
Like
stuff. You
if
know?
I was facing towards the courthouse in Hill Valley, down at the other end behind the courthouse where the theater would be at, right
Yeah.
at that corner was was Statler's Toyota, but in the 50s it was Statler's Studebaker, and and um, but then I think Statler's Horses was down towards the other way. No, it was
So he kept the same concept. It was modes of travel, but modes of transportation. But he went from horses to Studebakers to Toyotas.
right, and the manure collecting in 1885 was A. Jones, and then in 1955 it was his grandson D. Jones, the one that Biff's car
Yep.
crashed into.
Yeah, poor Biff, with his car, it's like, well, he kind of deserved it, so I can't really
Well,
feel that
Buford didn't like manure either. At least Marty remembered to make a bulletproof vest.
Yeah, really. Ah, what did he make that out of?
That front of the stove that fell off when he crashed into when he
Yes.
bumped into the
Yep.
stove,
Yep.
heating stove.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
not a stove that you cook on. It's a stove that you heat up the room.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a space heater kind of thing, only it wasn't electric. It
It's
was
you use
like a
wood.
fuel.
You
Yeah,
use
wood or
wood,
fuel. Yep. Yep.
and yeah, Mr. Fusion was added in part two,
Uh-huh.
and that was where Mr. Fusion. If you heard of nuclear, nuclear is called fission,
Yep. Yep.
but this would fusion would be taken like fuel sources like food and trash and converting it into energy.
Yep.
And
Yep.
there and some cities has fusion plants at their landfills.
Yep. Yep. We actually have somebody near here that he burns his garbage in order to heat his home. And it I'll tell you something. There are times when it smells a little weird, but besides that, it's fine. But it's just
And,
his, just his home. It's not like a town wide or anything.
and if you remember from part one, Doc Doc says 1.21 gigawatts. He
Yep.
mispronounced gigawatts.
I was gonna say it's supposed to be gigawatts, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But they wrote it in the script for him to mispronounce it as gigawatts.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he knew he was mispronouncing it and he did it on purpose because they told him to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that either. I thought that he did it by mistake and they said, "Oh, leave it in."
And yeah, that was something when in 1955 uh, uh, Marty mentioned about the plutonium, and Doc says, I'm sure in 1985 plutonium is sold in every corner drugstore, but in 1955 it's hard to come by.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And Doc mentioned that the only thing that in 1955 that could create 1.21 gigawatts is a bolt of lightning.
Yep. He knew it and it did.
And Marty showed him the paper of Save the Clock Tower,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. So Marty
that's
knew
when
exactly what he needed to do.
yeah, and that's when they were able to know when and where it was going to be available.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what was it that you wanted to talk about tonight, Keith? I kind of got you off on the tangent with the Back to the Future. So
well, I that's Back to the Future was what I was wanted to talk
oh,
about.
okay, good. Yeah, because we didn't get a chance to talk about it very much last time because my computer decided to not behave.
Yeah, um,
This is working out fine though, knock on wood.
yeah. Um, Back to the Future was the best time machine movies ever.
I
But
think well,
there was another machine movie, but I don't think it would be
there was
as popular as Back to the Future.
there was only one because I know of A Wrinkle in Time based on the novel, but I thought there would be more than that.
There's a movie called Time Machine. It was based on a book by H.G. Wells.
H.G. Wells. Yep. Okay, I know about that one too. That one was pretty popular though. That one was a
It was
uh,
popular in its own time.
yeah. I remember the part about that I liked the most was when they dragged the time machine into the cave, and that's how they knew that it was real, because they had to drag it back out of the cave in order for him to be able to get out, in order to live with the I forget what they were called, to live with the people above.
This is the
So
DeLorean that came with the flux
yeah,
capacitor.
yeah, and I said you can't get into that, no matter how hard you try, Keith. You grew up too much.
I can't afford the real DeLorean
Nope.
time machine, but I could probably afford the scale model size ones that
Oh
even
yeah.
lights up,
Yep. Like
where the
like
flux bands even lights up.
yep. Yep.
So
So okay, so let's see. So
Claudia
did
Claudia Wells played as Jennifer Parker in the first Back to the Future movie, but they got Elizabeth Shue to play Jennifer Parker in part 2 and part 3.
yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, I'm trying to go through in my mind the similarities in the movies, that you can kind of like follow the flow, like Biff with, you know, every movie, he has a new way of getting dumped on.
Yeah. Um, Thomas F. Wilson in the first Back to the Future played as Biff.
Yeah.
The second one, he played as Biff, Griff, and then there was a scene that he talked to himself in 1955, handing the sports almanac over.
Yeah, exactly. The magazine. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but generally, when you have a double role like that, first they have an actor in one, and then they do the backside um, of somebody else that
Of
about
somebody
the
else.
same height. And
Yep. But he did it in both ways, like with but they can do that with videotape, because they can superimpose, with one video on top of another. Um,
right, right,
so they can do
and
that,
and Michael J. Fox. Well, Thomas Wilson in part 3 played as Biff and Buford Tannen. And if Marty would have killed Buford Tannen, Biff and Griff would have never been born,
Exactly. They would have never existed. Yep.
and that would have messed things up.
Yeah, for his parents and everybody. It would that's the thing. That's one of the ways that I like, how I like the Back to the Future and the continuity and stuff, is because it's all tied in together, and it's the story is woven through, and it's like, okay, because of this happening, this happens, and you know, and uh, professor the professor keeps telling Marty, don't meet yourself, don't talk to yourself, don't ever, it'll mess everything up. So, you know,
Right, and in Back to the Future Part 2, Michael J. Fox not only played the 1985 Marty, he also played as a 2015 Marty, um, Marty McFly Jr. and Marlena McFly. his
Oh, I
daughter.
forgot he played Marlena. Oh, I forgot he played her. Yeah.
He did a triple role in that scene.
Yeah, he did.
I
He
like I
did.
like the part where Lorraine got out the little tiny pizza from Pizza Hut, and and Marty Jr. says, "Would you shove that in my mouth?"
Keep it clean. Keep it clean, Keith. Keep it clean.
well, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah,
He
I know.
did that little pizza all by himself,
Yeah.
but
But that was
the hydrator makes it big full.
bigger. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and he didn't understand that. Yep.
And
But that was
yeah,
it. That's
there's a scene that they saved a woman's life, and Doc says, if it weren't for me, Miss um, um, Miss Clayton would have gone over in Clayton Ravine, and
yep.
Marty says, Doc, 100 years ago, there was a teacher that went over the ravine, in the Clayton Ravine, and and ever since we wanted to see every teacher go over in the ravine. And Doc said, 100 years ago, that's this year. Doc regretted that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he changed history.
Yeah. There was a scene that Marty and Doc was looking at the map at the train station where they show the Shonash Ravine, which
Uh-huh.
is the original name. And
Yep.
when they changed the camera angle to Marty, you can see Clara Clayton in the background waiting for Doc.
Waiting for Doc. Yeah. Yeah, but isn't that wasn't she actually she was actually she ended up being his wife, right? Who played her?
Um, Mary Steenburgen,
Yeah.
Ted
She ended
Danson's
up
wife.
yeah, she actually ended up being uh the professor's wife because remember in the third one.
Yeah,
Yep. They
that was
they
in Back to the
they
Future
faked her
2.
death so that she could go off and ride off with the professor,
Yeah.
but she didn't really die. Okay, so he didn't regret her or that change. He was that was intentional.
Well, that well, he regretted um, changing the history of Clayton Ravine, which of course it ended up being called Eastwood Ravine because Marty went by the name of Clint Eastwood,
Yep, yep,
and when Marty first went in there into the saloon in the Palace Saloon, which is at the location of Lou's Cafe.
yeah,
In there were three famous Western actors that um, Dub Taylor, the father of Buck Taylor,
yep,
Harry Carey Jr., and Pat Buttram of Green Acres.
yep.
And before Green Acres, Pat Buttram played as Pat Buttram on Gene Autry.
Huh. I've probably seen that and I don't even know it. I know I've seen Gene Autry, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
but
I don't.
Pat Buttram was famous for his voice.
Yeah. Well, so was Gene Autry. So
Yeah,
yeah.
which of course Pat Buttram's voice is the reason why Pat Buttram got the role as Mr. Haney on Green Acres.
Yep. Okay, now I know who Pat Buttram is, because of Mr. Haney on Green Acres.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he was a Western actor before Green Acres.
Wasn't he also on Petticoat Junction or
Not
one of those other
if
sitcoms?
he was, it was maybe about one time but not as
Well,
many not as many as on Green Acres.
yeah, because
It was
wasn't
mostly
Petticoat
Green
Junction
Acres.
kind of a spinoff? Wasn't Petticoat Junction kind of a spinoff from Green Acres?
Green Acres started after Petticoat Junction. Petticoat Junction was
Oh,
a spinoff of the Beverly Hillbillies.
okay. So Petticoat Junction was a spinoff of the Beverly Hillbillies, and then was Green Acres a spinoff from Petticoat Junction?
Right.
Okay. All right, that makes more sense. That actually makes more sense too. But yeah, so all right.
And
He was in another series though.
but in Back to the Futures 1 and 2, Billy Zane was Match, one of Biff's Goonies.
Yep.
And if you recognize him later on in James Cameron's Titanic, he played as the rich guy that was supposed to marry Rose, played by Kate Winslet.
Yep, he was a bad guy. He was always
Yeah.
a bad guy. Oh, the only time he wasn't, but actually Billy Zane wasn't always a bad guy, because there was one time when he was actually like a a superhero kind of thing, right? Wasn't he like a superhero in one of the superhero movies?
The only movies I've seen Billy Zane in were the Back to the Futures and Titanic.
Oh, I thought he was some like super like not Spider-Man, obviously.
But Eric Braeden
Maybe
was also in Titanic, James Cameron Titanic.
Yep, yep.
His character went down with the ship.
Yep.
Eric Braeden, you might remember him from Young and the Restless.
Yep.
As
I didn't really watch Young and the Restless, but yeah, he was a soap opera.
He was a soap opera actor. He played as Victor Newman.
Yep. Yep. A lot of those actors, they were in soap operas first. What was it? The guy, the actor that played Richard Dean Anderson. He was in a lot of shows, a lot of
Richard Dean Anderson, best
he was
known
in
as
General
MacGyver.
Hospital. Yep, MacGyver. Yes, but he was
his father was known as Oscar Goldman on $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman.
Yep, exactly. But he was in General Hospital, and then he was in Stargate, and then he was in MacGyver.
Oh, I forgot to plug my computer back in.
Uh-oh. Hurry up. That reminds me, I probably should plug my phone in. No, my phone should be good. But just in case, I'll plug it in. As long as it doesn't mess up.
I got plugged in. Is at 8% power.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those actors that a lot of times it's like the actor that played McCoy on Star Trek.
Oh, Star Trek.
On Star Trek.
DeForest Kelley.
Yeah, exactly. He was in a lot of westerns.
Yeah, I know. Bonanza's one of them.
Yep. He was a lot of times. He was a bad guy.
Yeah. So when they Back to the Future, Back to the Future 3, they made that to where the best trip was saved for last, back to the Wild West days.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, the westerns have always been very, very popular. We may not realize it because but we don't realize a lot of times when we're watching like a sci-fi movie, it's basically a western in space.
Yeah,
You know, westerns are still, and I mean, that's why they saved in Back to the Future. That's why they saved the western um, theme for last, was because they wanted to go out with a bang.
right. And another thing, Back to the Future 2 in 2015,
Yeah.
um, the thing overhead that said um, Cubs beats Miami in the World Series sweep. Well, it wasn't the Cubs. They didn't win 2015 World Series. That was the Royals. The Cubs, however, did win the 2016 World Series. They were off by 1 year on
They
that.
were off by 1 year. Yep. Yep.
Off by
I thought
one
that
year
was
on
so
the
cool.
team. And
Well, and I mean the Cubs weren't known for winning a lot, Keith.
right.
So
Well, when the Cubs won in 2016, they broke the Billy Goat curse.
yes. Yes, they did. I know. I heard all about it.
Yeah, and
But yeah, the there's baseball is one of those sports that has a lot of superstitions in it.
yeah,
So, yep.
yeah. At the
But
start
back
of
to the
that, at the start of Back to the Future 2,
yep.
when they getting ready to go to 2015, Biff came out, wanted to show his matches to Marty, and he said, "A flying DeLorean." And then when they went through, says, "What the hell's going on? What the hell's happening?"
Ooh, yeah.
And then, but then in the 2015, when after Marty did what he's supposed to do, and the DeLorean landing down, old Biff then said, "A flying DeLorean? I haven't seen one of those in 30 years." And then Marty Jr. came out, and then old Biff says, "What the hell is happening?" Because
Yeah, because he recognized Marty, right?
he got two Marty Juniors,
Yep, yep,
and then he figured out Doc invented the time machine, and
yeah,
then he took that sports almanac and went back to November 12th, 1955, to hand it to himself.
yep. And of course, Biff, the kid, was like, "Oh, old man, what are you bothering me for?" kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, and
And old Biff says, "Shut up and listen."
yeah, but eventually, what that did, it messed up 1985, and
Yep,
and it was alternate to that new 1985 was alternate to Doc, Einie, and Marty, but to everybody else it was not an alternate one.
yeah,
So
exactly. They didn't
they
know.
had to go
They
back.
didn't know about the first future. They only knew about the future they were living in.
Yeah, and then it had to take going back and destroying that sports almanac to get right back to the original 1985.
Yep, yep. Doc Brown tried to tell him. He tried to tell Marty, "Don't take that with you. Don't do it. Just leave it. Just don't do it."
And then the courthouse, if it the courthouse, I think, was kind of facing to the north, I think.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the train tracks, if it went to San Francisco,
It would have been going west.
the courthouse would be facing see,
West, right?
probably, wait a minute, see.
Well, because California is, I mean, the western,
If
the western.
if the tracks here and the courthouse over here, and this way goes to San Francisco, then the track going about north, then the courthouse should be facing east. Courthouse should be facing east.
Well, yeah, but then the courthouse wouldn't have been, if the track was going to California. Well, I guess they go both ways, but I mean, it could be coming from California too. So.
Well, Hill Valley, I think Hill Valley might have set somewhere between San Francisco and LA.
Oh, okay, that's right. It was in California. Okay, all right.
So the train track would have been going north, which means the courthouse would have been facing east, and then
So was the train track? The train track was alongside of the courthouse.
No, it was at least several blocks down. Several blocks
Okay,
down.
but it was going perpendicular to the courthouse.
Right.
Okay. All right.
It was going parallel to. Well, it was going parallel to the front of the courthouse. Parallel.
Oh, okay.
So the track was going.
Okay, so the courthouse was facing this way, and the train tracks were going this way.
Right. So
okay.
the train
All
track,
right.
the train track, if back this way was towards LA and that way to San Francisco, then the courthouse was facing east.
Okay.
Because LA's to the south and San Francisco's to the north.
Okay. All right.
And well, that one corner, Lou's Cafe, which is now the used car lot. In 1955, it was Lou's Cafe. In 1985, it was Lou's Exercise Center. And in 1885, it was Palace Saloon. And then
so he went from a drinking saloon to a fitness center, right?
Right. But the Lou's right here going this way from the Palace Saloon is a blacksmith shop in 1885, and that was Doc's blacksmith shop.
Uh-huh.
And then in 1955, you have the
Hang on, Keith. You go ahead talking because I can hear you in my headphones. I gotta let the dog out again. I'll be right back.
Okay.
But keep talking because I can hear you.
Okay. Courthouse facing east, which means east. And then to the south is on the corner is Statler's Studebaker in 1955, and then 1985 it was Statler's Toyota, and then in 1955 a couple of blocks towards the east, a couple doors to the east is a Western Auto, and then and then and then kind of like behind, at the end of the street behind the courthouse is the theater in 1955, but in 1985 it becomes a worship center.
A worship center?
Yeah, kind of like a church. That
So it
theater,
went from a theater to a worship center.
like
Okay.
yeah, like a church.
Now, I didn't hear you. What was it the first like in 19 in 18 uh what 1855? 18.
Well,
What was
well, the courthouse right here, and then over here on the corner is Statler's Studebaker in '55, Statler's Toyota in 1985, but and then
and it was
two doors,
the horse.
and then two doors down this way from Statler's Studebaker was Western Auto, and a couple of blocks down this way from that was a Texaco.
Oh, okay. So what was it in the western town?
See,
In the town
it looks
because
like
they usually have
like
like
it looked like there was some empty lots there,
oh,
or under construction in 1885.
so they couldn't think of anything that went with a uh, a theater to a church and what was there before the theater, but they could think of what was like the horse because they sold horses, or it was a stable in the
Well,
western one.
the Statler horses was east of the Palace Saloon.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't the
As
same
Marty was
building.
walking from the train station, and
Okay.
he walks past that. He also passed the Undertaker, where he saw the tomb. Well, you can see the tombstone that was rounded at the top, and it says "Here lies."
Yep.
And that was the tombstone that Emmett Brown would have been put on, and then it was changed to Clint Eastwood, and then when he had Buford break it, um, it ended up disappearing off of the photograph.
Yep. All together. Yep.
Yeah, because Marty was able to successfully get Buford apprehended by the marshal's office.
Yep. I gotta watch those movies again.
Yeah, I've got them on streaming.
Yeah.
I can watch it on. I bought the trilogy in through Amazon,
Oh
and
yeah.
my Amazon is linked through my movies anywhere, and so is my Google, and I can watch it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
if you have
I
movies
wonder if I
anywhere,
could do that.
if you have movies anywhere, you need to link it up to your Amazon account and your YouTube account or a Google
Uh-huh.
account like this, and
Okay.
also um,
Now, is that free or do you have to pay for that like a Disney Plus kind of thing, a
um,
subscription?
you can open it up free, but you have to. But when you want to buy movies through it, you have to have a credit card or a debit card on the account.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna
But
have to
movies
get that
anywhere at
because
one
it's not Disney. Right?
movies movies anywhere was at one time called Disney Movies Anywhere.
Uh-huh.
They dropped the
But
Disney off of it.
yeah, because Back to the Future aren't Disney movies, are they?
No, it's Universal.
Yeah, that's what I thought because I remember them having the Universal
You can
the
buy
ride.
a Disney in Amazon or or Voodoo or Fandango and access it on Google, access it in YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Same with the Universal, because those will go through movies anywhere.
Huh. I'm gonna have to check into that.
Movies Anywhere was designed to um to link your movies up through different streamings that you have streaming.
And then you can download them, right? And then you have them even when you're not online, right?
Right, and
Okay.
and you have to make sure you have purchased it before you can download it.
Yeah.
And
Well, otherwise you're renting it over and over and over again, right?
but they made it where you can either rent or purchase.
Uh-huh. Well, I know
And
that they do that. Amazon, they do that with books and audio books and things. So I
yeah,
imagine they probably do that with movies too, right?
right. And
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely find a way to watch those movies again because there's
and
a lot I've forgotten. Keep reminding me.
you need to check back in time on Amazon Prime. It's included in the Prime membership.
Oh, okay. Well, we do have Prime membership,
But there
so
is some commercial breaks too.
yeah, I'll survive those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think my husband might like that too.
yeah, and
Anyway, so so in now, who played Marty's mother?
Leah Thompson.
That's who it was. Okay, because I couldn't remember her name and I could see her face as plain as
And
day.
in Back to the Future one, it was Crispin Glover that played his father, but in um, part two and part three, it was Jeffrey Wiseman.
Yeah. Any idea why they didn't play? They must not have known that. They must not have thought that
I, I,
the sequel.
I'm not for sure, but I thought Crispin Glover was asking more money than what they were willing to pay him.
Well,
So they cut him out of they 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 decided not to have him in part two and part three.
yeah, they
And
probably
besides
should have.
that, they run on a budget. Those movie
Yeah.
studios they run on a budget.
Yep. Yeah. They and the producers, from what I remember, the producers stayed pretty close to that budget too. They really did. You know, they didn't spend any extra money on those movies.
Right. And Back to the Future.
Probably.
Back
Go
to the
ahead.
Future is the only time machine movie that time traveling movies that I ever seen, and I think that's the only time traveling machine movie I'll ever want to watch.
Oh, you've never seen the H.G. Wells one?
No,
Oh, see, I have. I've actually seen it 4 or 5 times, but I liked it. I thought it was kind of cool, but um, it's kind of dark, you know. So
but
yeah.
I think the Back to the Future is the best one since it had a stainless steel car, which of course stainless steel makes a car heavy.
Yes, yes. But I'll bet you it's not any heavier than the electric cars like a Tesla and stuff now, because the
Right.
batteries weigh so much. Yeah.
Yeah. John DeLorean has passed away years ago,
Yep.
back, I think, in the early 2000s.
Yep.
But they tried to charge him with conspiracy to had to do with cocaine, but he was found not guilty on all charges.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They found him innocent.
Well,
So
why would they even charge him? I mean, what did they? I mean, he was like,
it was some kind of sting operation that was going on, as I understand it. But I'm not. But don't quote me on it.
okay, I won't.
And it's already been an hour.
Yeah.
What you're saying at
Wow.
the end of the show?
I'm watching. Always watching.
Have a magical evening and a great big beautiful tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye bye.